we are mildly interesting guys, and we talk about some stuff. So welcome to the podcast, we call it Joel the Podcast. It's Alex and it's Alex, here for Joel the Podcast. Hello everybody, I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast, Joel.
Joel. I heard myself like 3 seconds after I said something. Like what I just said.
Oh, you're hearing your own audio back?
Not all the time. It was just right at the beginning there I did.
Okay, well, if it starts happening more, let me know and I'll put my headphones in.
All right.
All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to episode 32. We are here on Super Bowl Sunday recording this episode.
Before the Super Bowl. So
we don't know what happens yet.
Right. There's no way for us to know that the 49ers are going to win 27-24. But now that I've said that and it happens.
I really hope that's the score.
If it is, I feel like it's more likely that people are just not going to believe that we recorded this after the game.
You mean that before the game?
Before the game? What did I say?
You said after the game. Now they're definitely not going
to. Oh, no.
Listen up. I promise we're recording it before the game.
Like, this isn't a joke. It's actually before the game.
Time.
Well,
I mean, that whole sequence is not going to matter because it's probably not going to be the score, but
no.
All right.
But if it is,
that'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right.
First of all,
wait.
Well, I just wanted to say that I know that you do not owe me $1. I went back and listened to the episode where we talked about that, and I believe I explicitly said, "This is not a bet" or something like that. So, bad job by me on that. But after today, you may owe me $1. But as of right now, Nathan does not owe me $1. So that gets all right. Now we can go to sports. So I guess we already mentioned the Super Bowl being today. So your prediction is 49ers 24 or 27, and what's the other team? Kansas City 24.
Yep.
So I guess I'll make a prediction. I'm going to go with 49ers will win 31. 21 49ers.
31-21. All right.
I know it sounds like I already watched the game and I'm trying to make it sound like that's my guess, but I promise that's a real guess. The game has not happened yet.
I was going to say, at least one of us will be wrong, so they'll know, but we could have just been faking that, too.
Right.
I suppose they'll only know when we're both wrong, probably because Kansas City is going to win, so.
Yeah. So, interesting prediction there. I thought you said the 49ers were going to win.
I did.
And then you just said Kansas City was probably going to win.
No, if they win, then everyone will know that we weren't.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that we are recording it after the Super Bowl. We're just saying these fake scores just to make you think that it's before the Super Bowl. We know what the real score is, but we won't say it on the podcast just for fun.
We'll write it in the description just so you know.
We're writing the description right now before we post the video, so I promise we didn't just wait for the Super Bowl to end and then post it. All right. So if you're listening to this, you've probably seen episode 31, probably posted by now. but as of the time of recording, it's not. But I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I listened back to it all the way through as I was working on the clips.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end, well, so first of all, let me say that it was just good. But at the end, for some reason, I think we were thinking that it was starting to get bad. And I'm not sure why. Like,
I feel like that's a common occurrence on our podcast. We just talk for an hour, and at the end, we're like, man, have we really been talking for an hour? Who would be listening to this? So we just assume it would
be like, all right, we need to wrap this up. The podcast is over now.
But it was
after listening back, completely objectively, it was good. It was probably one of our best episodes. I don't think it's one of like the very best episodes because there was a certain element of like the organic, just
right. He's waving his arms around for those of you who can't see.
Right. If you just imagine me waving my arms. The podcast was just like that. Or no, yeah. It was not like that. It didn't have that in it.
Right.
Which our podcast usually
there was none of this.
None of
exactly.
Yeah. So you know what I mean.
Yeah. So the audience knows what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah. So okay. I gotta talk and move my laundry over at the same time. So what I was gonna say next was the commercial. So probably if you're listening to this, the commercial has also been posted. But I just wanted to say Nathan did most of the work on that commercial and it's phenomenal. It's awesome. So thank you. I wanted to publicly thank you for all the effort you put into on that high effort commercial there.
Yeah, it was fun. If we ever come up with any more like interesting projects like that, I won't mind putting that amount of effort in again in the future. But let me just tell you that for the weekly podcast, don't expect any increase in effort or quality or anything.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you may be listening and realizing that we're back to the Skype sound quality. Compared to our previous episode, will hopefully be higher quality from our phone audio.
Higher quality audio quality or whatever it is you said.
Yeah, high quality audio quality.
There you go.
So the reason for that is it's kind of, some effort for us to do that. And so if you're listening and you're like, man, I really wish they would go back to the higher quality, please email us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com and let us know, and we'll definitely consider doing it. But I think for now we're just going to go back to Skype audio.
Right, back to the basics. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that, I think.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like, especially in the introduction, that you do it like this isn't a bad thing. Let me start off by saying this is not a bad thing, but I feel like you do a lot of the talking in the introductions, and then I just go like, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I went back and listened to I was just at work and I was like a little bit bored, but I was doing all of my work duties if you're my employer. But I was kind of bored, so I put on just my half of the audio, just re-listen to my half like without you, and I was like, I noticed that too. I was like, man, if you just listen to the Nathan side of the audio, there's probably a lot of silence during this part.
Yeah, so if you would like me to participate more in the introduction, or even better, if you would like to make me very confused by having to do the entire introduction by myself, please email us and let us know that you want to hear more from me at the beginning.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to hear any of Nathan, you don't want to hear him like interjections or laughing at all, please also email us.
You can send us an email with like literally any suggestion, honestly, and we'll just do that.
Yeah, at least for one episode.
And speaking of which, that's
I know it's a good transition, but we didn't actually finish the intro yet.
Oh no. Okay. Okay.
All right. So we talked about the Super Bowl, but I wanted to real quick talk about Purdue, who finally got their first Big Ten road win last night against Rutgers.
Against Northwestern.
Yeah, they lost to Rutgers.
Right. Which I'm less upset about this year than I would be any other year, I think. Like, it's still a bummer thinking about losing to Rutgers in sports, but
Rutgers is pretty good this year.
They're all right.
So
if you're a Rutgers fan, don't be too mad at us for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Rutgers fan, you probably know. So.
If you're a Rutgers fan, please just email us, as I want to know that there is one. All right. But
we may set a record this episode for the most email us jokes.
We should put a counter at the bottom right of the video.
Yeah, that would probably be absolutely no effort at all to do.
I bet people would actually be interested in that. Okay, so what I wanted to say about Purdue was that I know you mentioned you were kind of down because we had been so much worse on the road. But they showed a graphic during the game last night, and we really only have one bad road loss. Like, we lost to Nebraska on the road, which was bad. But every other team we've lost to on the road has been in the top 30 of KenPom. So, which for those of you who don't know is a guy who ranks college basketball teams.
Right. I think he's got Purdue ranked fairly high as well, right?
Yeah,
like unusually so based on our.
Yeah, they're 28 right now, which is kind of ridiculous.
Like, we're barely over 500, and
yeah. So
it's obviously not a perfect system, but on the other hand, like, they've got the potential to be that good.
Yeah, if you're KenPom, please email us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com and explain yourself. All right. So I guess that is the end of the introduction. Since I just remembered, start thinking about quotes for the end of the episode.
Oh, I had already been thinking about that.
Oh, good.
By which I mean I'm opening up the internet right now to start searching. But I did remember before we started the podcast.
That's helpful. All right.
Yeah. I was gonna do a joke here where I said whatever it was I said to do the transition again, but I forgot what I said during the transition. So
speaking of suggestions.
Oh, speaking of doing whatever it is that people.
Speaking of emailing us to give us suggestions of things to do on the podcast.
Yeah, that. Let's do that. We received. Well, I mean, honestly, I think it was a YouTube comment and not an email, which makes us less likely to do it. By the way, like.
Yeah, emails... we're less likely to do it, but we're also completely starved for user interaction. So we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, we're still 100% likely to do it. It's just a little bit less of. It'll probably take us longer to notice that you left an email or left a YouTube comment.
Speaking of being 100% likely to do what you asked on your YouTube comments. Do you want to continue introducing it? That'd be funny, but I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, we should probably cut out most of this.
Are you kidding me? This is the filler of our episode. We gotta fill an hour here.
Oh man. All right, whatever. So our YouTube comment was something along the lines of, can you do an episode about New Year's resolutions? And the answer to that question is of course we can. we are not we aren't prepared or qualified, but that's never stopped us before. So
you still listening despite that. So
you didn't come here for insightful commentary. You came for
what did they come here for?
The hilarious quotes every once in a while, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
they weren't scared off by the useless filler that is the other 95%. So
yes. So I guess really people should just listen to the highlights episode and that's it, because that takes out all the funniest parts.
The thing about that again is you're just missing.
He's waving his hands around for those of you who can't see.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess really what you should do is you should just, since we're planning on posting all of the highlights that we picked out, you should just go into that folder and listen to all the highlights and nothing else. All right. So we are going to attempt to talk about New Year's resolutions. Disclaimer here, this is not gonna last for 45 minutes. So we're gonna do our best. All right. So first of all, I have not ever made any New Year's resolutions. Have you?
I don't think so. Like sometimes I think about doing it, but then I've never committed to anything.
Right.
It's not that I've never had the thought of like what might I commit to. It's just that I never, attempt. Because if I don't attempt any resolutions, I don't fail them immediately, which is what stereotypically happens.
Right. I feel like for me, if I'm gonna be motivated to do something, then I'm just gonna do it. Like a new year starting is really not any additional motivation for me to start doing something. So like, for example, actually I started going to the gym in December. But I just started in December because I was like, I need to do this.
And are you still going to the gym?
Yep, I still am. So
wow. All right.
Yeah. How long do you think I'll keep going for? I missed my first one last week.
Uh-oh.
Well, also I skipped. Also, when I went home over Christmas, I didn't go at all. So I guess I missed a lot over that.
I think it's probably more telling that you started up again when you got back, though, right?
Right.
So, have you been since you missed the one?
Yeah, I went today.
Okay. So, I'd say most likely, you've not derailed yet.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I guess the point of most likely you haven't derailed yet. Well,
I have so much faith in you.
Definitely, I haven't derailed yet since I went today. All right. So the thing is, I started in December because I guess I was like, okay, people out there might be like, oh wow, good for you for like going to the gym, like good job, but hold your horses here. Let me explain my reasoning, which was I have an office job, so I go to work and I sit around at my desk all day, and then I come home and I sit on my couch and watch TV and play video games. And I was feeling really bad about literally all I do is sitting around. So that's I guess it's better than no motivation, but
so I do both of those things as well. Except I also don't go to the gym, so.
Well, you probably don't feel as bad about it.
Well, I feel a little bit bad, but not bad enough to like. So the main problem for me, about the gym is that it's a different place to go to, and I don't like going to different places. If I had gym equipment in my apartment, I would 100% use it. Like, I don't doubt my motivation to exercise. I doubt my motivation to go somewhere else regularly.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I really just need to, like, buy some, like, free weights and an exercise bike or something.
You know how?
And then I'll probably get ripped immediately because
this may not be a universal experience, but have you ever like gone over to someone's house and you go in their basement and there's just random exercise equipment and you ask them about it and it's like not been used in like years by anyone? Anyway, I feel like that's where you're headed.
Oof. Maybe so, but I'd like to at least stay fit through my 20s.
Yep.
I don't want to, descend into mediocrity as quickly as I possibly can.
Right. So, well, I'll be encouraging you every step of the way, also making fun of you for not doing it. I guess maybe that's my encouragement.
Yeah, that's some good encouragement. I think circling back to the New Year's resolution theme that we've got going on for this episode, that's another big reason that I don't do it is because I don't ever express those ideas to anybody so that I can't be held accountable.
Exactly.
For any, if I were to tell people man, here's my New Year's resolution, and maybe, you know what, maybe this podcast is the perfect platform. If we tell the world about our resolutions, I feel like we'll be infinitesimally more likely to be held
first of all,
to them.
When you say tell the world, you mean two people. But
I am thinking of the future. I'm thinking optimistically. Like I said, by the end of this year, we'll hit 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
So
okay, so
some of them we might not even know. If I don't know you personally and you're listening to this, please, for the love of God, email us.
Please email us. The email is alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com in case you somehow don't know that yet.
Right. You know what? I'm going to choose this moment to, I mentioned before the podcast that I had something to say about a thing I did. I didn't tell you about it because I want your reaction to it here. I'm going to choose this moment to reveal what this is.
I'm excited.
So we've said so many times that our email is alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com. And we've gotten 4 emails.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, we have, pretty much 2 listeners that we know of right now. So maybe that's a pretty good ratio, more than 1 email per confirmed listener.
Right.
Seems decent.
Sure.
If trends continue. But anyway, I'm just thinking ahead. That's another theme of this episode is thinking ahead. Here in the middle of this Olive Garden. And that's not the quote, by the way. I'm still looking. But but okay, so the point I'm trying to get to in the most roundabout way possible is our email is really long. Right. And imagine having this thought, and this is a super relatable experience, at least to me, having a thought, going to your email and starting to type the email of the person you're trying to contact. And by the time you reach the end of the email, you don't know what you were going to type, especially when the email is longer than 14
some long
or so
arbitrary
characters.
amount of characters.
An arbitrarily long number of characters. That can be as long as you like, as long as it's shorter than our email, because otherwise the point doesn't work. So what I've done is I resolved myself to solve this problem of us having such a long email. And the way I did that was by creating a website where you can go. And there is a link on this website. You click that link and it pops up an email all ready to go with our email address already put in, because websites are neat and you can do stuff like that. The website is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io. patreon.com/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website. This is 100% real. You can go to that website. I see you're doing it right now, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say about. I spent several minutes designing this, so.
Can you say the website again?
Yeah, so again, for our listeners, it is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website.
.website. Got
it. You probably typed in .com like a fool.
No, I typed alexandalex@joelthepodcast. Hold on. What did I type in? I typed in alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast, but I didn't add the .website.
.website. It's a website. You've got to have the .website.
It's taking me to a security check. Is that what you would expect?
Oh, no.
Because I feel like I shouldn't just click on a random link on a random security check.
Let me try on my end here. It works for me.
Alex and Alex AT, right?
Alex and Alex AT Joel the podcast .github.io/. I'm almost definitely gonna edit some of this out at least, because this is.
You're editing out the meat of our podcast here, Nathan.
Oh man.
.website. Okay. So that's a 404 error. Alex. Oh, right. I spelled my own name wrong. There we go. I found it.
Yep.
I wonder if it's just my browser.
Maybe.
Nope.
Yeah. What browser were you using so we can?
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I got it working.
All right.
On both browsers.
Oh, okay. So I suppose if you have trouble reaching our website, which again is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website, just keep trying, I guess, and it'll fix itself, which is how most computer problems get solved.
Yeah, I think I just typed it in wrong the first time. So. All right.
So. Yeah, so what do you think? I can see the reflection of your glasses, the very green reflection that you are in fact on our website.
First of all, I think this website perfectly embodies our podcast. Really just a green background with our cover photo and an email link, and that's it. Yeah. Also, the incredibly long I think it's excellent how your entire description of your problem led up to you saying a website name that's even long, like twice as long as our email address. So overall, I'm assuming this is mostly a joke. So 10 out of 10, well executed joke. If it's not a joke, please edit this out. So, by the way, I hope this ends up like the first episode where you say you're gonna edit all this stuff out and then it just never gets edited out. So
right. What you probably didn't notice, I just want to point this out before you leave the site. You correctly identified the email us link, which I think is pretty obvious, but the picture itself is actually a different link, which also just opens up an email to us.
Yes, I actually did notice that.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, good job. You're very
thank you
observant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I just in general want to say that I'm very impressed in how much effort you've been putting into this podcast as of late. And I feel kind of bad because I've put in very little effort. So, yeah, if you oh, by the way, we'll just throw a hint here on this podcast. I see you used the new cover art. So anyway, if you think that I should put in more effort, please email us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com or visit our website at at joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website, and click on the email link, and tell us what you think.
It is so much funnier hearing that website than it is saying that website. I had never, I had thought about saying it, and I was like, oh man, that's going to be pretty funny, because obviously it's the exact same thing as the email, but twice as long, because you have to type the whole thing twice.
Right.
But hearing you say it was even better. Oh man.
I think from now on, instead of telling people to email us, we should just tell people to go to this website instead, because it's much more convoluted and funny.
And more convenient. You can just click a button to send us an email rather than opening up your email and creating an email.
Yeah.
Although in the commercial, that's what we did. We didn't visit our website to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So now.
Ultimately, it's up to you, the listener, to do what you want. And also, if you have any more ideas about what we could use this website for, please email us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast.com, or visit our website, which is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website.
So while we're completely derailed here, I just wanted to say one more thing that's completely unrelated to anything we've said so far, which is that in episode 27, you said that you would put the picture that Ben sent us in the video so that people could see it, and you didn't. And I don't know if we ever released the picture, but it's in the commercial. So if you watch the commercial, you can see the picture of the potato with googly eyes, that supposed baby.
It's very clearly not punched, so we did pay Ben his 1 cent.
Yes.
And
did it on the podcast.
Right. To everyone else listening who may be thinking of claiming that prize, unfortunately, we've already given that out. You missed your opportunity. You should have emailed us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com, or visited our web. No.
Thank you for stopping. I'm just gonna lay down here for a second. All right. I also want to say, website wise, I remember in an early episode we talked about getting a website.
Yeah. Because it turns out this is free. GitHub will host your website for you for free, as long as. Well, I was going to say, as long as you have that github.io domain. So I suppose it's like advertising kind of, but I think you can customize the domain name as well. So I don't understand 100% how this works, but I'm not paying any money for it, and it's visible to you over the internet. So
yeah. So
that's all I wanted.
Right, but what I was leading to up to what the hell here is that, sorry, I have a Chromecast in my TV, and I just want to show you the picture that came up on my TV.
I can't.
You can't see it?
It's too bright.
Hold on, so I can see here.
What? All of my Chromecast pictures are like nature and stuff. What is that?
So let me describe for the listeners. It is a white wall on the side of a building, and on the wall someone has painted a bunch of whales, fish, things. Let me see. From left to right, we've got some kind of killer whale, a fish, like a standard looking fish. The whales with those white heads, are they called beluga whales? The picture just went away, so I'm describing from memory. A shark, a dolphin, and I don't remember what the other thing was, but an octopus. And they were playing poker. So
sitting around one of those tables,
right?
Playing, with cards and all that.
Yeah. So anyway, what I actually wanted to say was I think when we were talking about the website originally, we just picked some lame name like joelthepodcast.com.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that the website ended up being alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website, which is much better.
100%. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased.
All right, so back to what we were originally talking about, which was New Year's resolutions. So I think we might want to throw some advice out here.
Yeah, no, this is we can go back to our roots as an advice podcast. This is something that we could,
Yes.
actually.
So the first piece of advice I think we already touched on, which was if you want to do a New Year's resolution, do it with a friend or someone to hold you accountable. So that, even if you don't care what they think, at least you'll feel a little bit bad if you bail on them.
Right.
So yeah, there's advice. Tip number 1 from people who have never done a New Year's resolution.
Tip number 2, we mentioned this before, maybe a little bit, counterintuitive based on the New Year's resolution, but why bother waiting for a new year? Just, if you want to do stuff, just do it. Just do it.
I can't help saying just do it without thinking of the Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Same. One of those things that's just like ruined forever now, because it's such a common phrase, just do it.
Right.
But that's all you can think of.
Thanks, Shia LaBeouf. All right.
Yep.
So
if I start doing my dishes here, is it audible?
Yes, it's audible.
I guess I'm not doing my dishes.
I think you just want an excuse not to do your dishes.
Well, I'm kind of hungry right now, and I want to make some soup. But my soup making pot, and in fact all of my other pots, are dirty.
Let me ask you this: do you eat on a regular schedule, or you just randomly eat throughout the day?
This weekend has been especially rough because, as I mentioned, I'm on call this weekend for work. In addition to,
for the record, you did mention that before the podcast started. Anyway, go on.
Right, that's what I meant by that. So in addition to like the normal issues that crop up periodically that I, get called to deal with, as we're recording this, today is February 2nd, which means that yesterday was February 1st. And a lot of the things that we work with run on monthly schedules. So being the beginning of a new month, a lot more things were running and therefore breaking. So I have dealt with an unusually high number of things this weekend. Unusual as in more than the one other time that I've done this. And yeah, both yesterday and today I was woken up by a call around 6:30.
Oof.
Yeah, so yeah, my shifts when I'm on call go from 6 to 6. So basically right away, got up, started doing stuff. Today's been pretty okay. Since the 6 o'clock call, there hasn't been anything else, which is almost certainly jinxing it. But
yep. So if you're listening and Nathan eventually gets called in, please email us and tell us how he should quit live on the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Also, if that does happen, for the record, Alex is going to continue the podcast by himself, leaving some spaces for me or, in fact, you, the listener, to participate.
Yeah, so if Nathan has to leave, hopefully he'll leave his Skype running and not hang up. And this is on your phone, right?
Yes.
So hopefully you'll just take your phone with you, I guess, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, I've just got my laptops here. I can do everything from home.
Oh, nice.
So I'll just be at my desk.
Right. So, but presumably you won't be talking to me. So.
Probably not as much. I could, but
if that does happen, I'll be just talking and leaving spaces for Nathan to fill in later. So if you're listening, you can record your own audio of yourself filling that in.
Oh, man.
And layer it onto our own podcast and send it to us. That would be amazing. In case you forgot, our website is Alex and Alex. There's a link to email us there.
It's so stupidly long that beginning to mention that you're going to say the whole thing is a joke.
It's so stupidly long that I don't even want to say the whole thing for the joke.
That's how you know it's a good joke, when even you don't want to say the joke.
But yeah, I think we're here. We're at 40 minutes now. So if you got called in right now, I think I could make it for the last 20.
All right.
By the way, like I guess it was a couple months ago at this point, somebody pointed out to me. Actually, it was someone on the internet pointed out how I say 20, which is 20. And I can't stop hearing it now. It's really bugging me. But I can't say 20 because that's weird. So.
Who pointed that out to you? I say 20.
Yeah, someone on the. It was okay. Do you remember that tongue twister thing I read to you the other day?
No.
Last week, that Esau wood saws wood.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that was posted as a link to a video, which I think I showed you the video. But in the comments, someone was talking about accents and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And somebody mentioned 20, which is, it's honestly, this is the first word where I can hear myself saying something weird, but that's just how I talk. So.
I mean, I don't know if I know anybody who would say 20.
See, I feel like you just don't notice it. Like, I feel like 20 and 20, like if you heard someone say 20 instead of 20, you probably would just be like, oh, 20. That's what the word is. Like, you wouldn't be like, oh, they said 20 and not 20. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, it is weird.
It is weird now that I think about it, but
yeah.
The thing is, I don't know if people have been saying 20 and I just didn't notice, or they just, everyone that I've ever heard says 20.
I'm gonna start like subtly attempting to get people to say 20 to me. I've got to think of a good way to do it. I have no idea how I would do that.
Okay. You do like Dungeons and Dragons or some kind of role play thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got an easy opportunity right there with a D20.
Ooh, that's a good point. And now that I think about it, well, I suppose I can't say this for sure because, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I would just ignore the fact that someone in our group is a psychopath that says 20. But I'm from memory, I'm pretty sure everyone says 20.
Right. So here's your action item. Go to that this week and find out what people are saying and bring it back to the podcast next week.
All right. I can do that. That is easily the easiest thing I will do for the podcast this week.
Nice. All right. Cool. So I guess maybe we should go back to resolutions.
Yeah. Let's circle back. This has all been 100% relevant, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that you're really getting your money's worth here, Cephalopod Master.
/ Maelstrom 1997.
Right. We are 100% on topic. It's just that maybe you didn't really think about what this topic encompassed in its entirety.
Exactly. You probably didn't think that New Year's resolutions was related to how people say 20/20, but in fact it is, obviously.
Very, very clearly, as we have demonstrated.
Yep. All right. So I guess thinking about possible pitfalls for New Year's resolutions, you definitely want to have a concrete plan. So I would say it's a bad resolution to say I want to start going to the gym, and you have to have some kind of, well, I mean, it's a good resolution if you have some kind of follow-up, like, oh, I want to go to the gym, and I'm going to go to X gym, and I'm going to go on X days at X times. Because otherwise you're just going to be like, You'll go once maybe or twice, and then you'll be like, it's just never convenient to go to the gym, or oh, this gym is charging an outrageous fee, I can't go to this gym anymore. You gotta have some kind of concrete plan in mind, and to have any chance of sticking to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think at any given time you should be able to like pretty clearly identify whether or not you are abiding by your resolution.
Right.
Because if you leave yourself wiggle room, if you're me at least, you're going to be the best wiggler in the world in order to not do whatever it is you don't want to do.
That makes me think of the Nintendo character Wiggler.
That like caterpillar kind of thing from Mario?
Yeah, that turns red when it's mad.
Right. So
I'm going to Photoshop your face onto that caterpillar now that you just said that you're the best wiggler in the world.
Okay, so here's another tangentially related thing. Definitely 100% related. But like we said, maybe not while we were recording, actually. I don't think we said it while we were recording. But I enjoyed doing all of the like video editing work for the commercial. It was a lot more work than usual, but it was fun.
Uh-huh.
And you helped out with like a lot of Photoshop creations for things that I had a vision, and then I would ask you to do it, and then you like put the thing in our Google Drive folder, which very quickly got renamed to just like whatever the heck we put in this folder.
Yeah, I gotta say, when you asked me for what you asked me for, I was like, what clip could he possibly want? Like, what is he thinking of using? I was like, no, it's the children one. It's definitely the children one.
Yeah.
So, if that made no sense to you, go watch the commercial.
Watch the commercial again. Watch it several times. It's like 2 minutes long, so I hope it gets watched a lot more than our typical clips do, or our typical episodes. But that's what I was going towards is there some way, and this is a question more for the listeners, I think, than for us, because we could probably come up with something, but doesn't mean it would be any good. But is there some way that we can semi-regularly produce shorter content that is still, like and entertaining for us and doesn't like feel like work, but is maybe more like consumable,
right?
Than an hour long. Like, so should we? Is there a way we should diversify from being podcasters into like just general video creators?
So my first thought when you said that was to create a like episode highlights video each episode. So we basically just take the best parts and do exactly what we did for the commercial.
Right.
The problem is I don't really know if we produce enough highlights to make a highlights video for each episode.
Yeah, I think some of the highlights would definitely be a bit of a stretch, and even more beyond that, I wonder what the point would be in like actually making the episode then. Like, that's not what I mean. And actually like putting the episode online as well.
Right. Well, I mean, the idea
is you're interested in all of the filler, but probably you're just you think we're kind of funny sometimes, and if you could just hear those bits more efficiently, that would be just as good.
Right. Well, I mean, okay, first of all, I feel like listening to the highlights doesn't give you everything. Like, you pulled some highlights from episode 14, which was Would You Rather, but you really have to listen to the whole episode to actually get the full quality of that episode.
Yeah, you're right.
But second of all, I feel like, I feel like if our listeners, all they wanted was the highlights, and we were willing to make highlights videos, why would we not do that? Like, I guess your point is that people wouldn't listen to the full episodes, but I mean, I'm just shrugging over and over for those of you who can't see.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. So let us know, listeners, and we'll take your opinions into consideration, I suppose. Yeah. There's like 2 of you, so
2 of you that we know of.
Yeah.
So but I think maybe we should come up with a different idea. Like,
yeah, I think that's more what I was looking for, was something different than what we already do, rather than
that was just the first thing that came to my mind.
Right. That makes sense, because that's what we just did, and why we have all of this that we were doing.
Right.
But yeah, so just to tie it back, my New Year's resolution going on podcast years instead of, calendar years, but also it doesn't matter what we do based on our tips from earlier. Keeping those in mind, those are relevant. Is, I guess, just to, I don't know, try more. I don't want to say try more, because we're not going to try more unless.
Listen, we have no resolutions, but we might try more.
We might try more, and that is a resolution.
Yep. So if you have an idea for some other kind of content we could do, that's kind of video oriented or just kind of separate from what we're doing now, send us an email, or visit our website to send us an email. I'm sure you know what they are. We've said them already. If not, just rewind this episode and listen to the whole thing again.
Right. And wait until you get to the end, and then maybe even on a different browser, watch it again. I don't know how YouTube calculates views, but if you're going to watch it twice, I want my 2 views.
Just refresh the page and watch it again. Unless you're not listening on YouTube. Like, if you download it.
In which case, you should email us so that I still get the validation of knowing that a bunch of people listened to.
Right. Just go to the YouTube video and then just immediately close it so we get the view.
I wonder if there's a way to make some sort of counter on our website where you can go and just click a button that increments a number on the website. All I'm looking for is the satisfaction of watching a number go up. It doesn't have to mean anything. It just has to be somebody out there clicking something to make a number go up, and I'll feel good.
So let me ask you this. Did you code that website from the ground up yourself?
I did.
Okay, so I think there's ways you can make view counters.
Okay.
I really know nothing about it, but I know websites have like statistics, so there's definitely a way to like find out how many views you have.
Right.
It may be more difficult since you just built it yourself, but
there's definitely a way to do it if you like own the server. I'm curious how this stuff would interface with like, GitHub hosting.
Yeah, so I guess
all of that.
Yeah. So I guess it would be, actually I really know very little about actual website making.
Right.
But I presume it would be easier just to add exactly what you said, like a button to increment a number.
Yes.
So if you're visiting our website and there's that button there, please click it to give us validation.
I'll feel really good.
Maybe click it a few times to make us feel even better.
Yeah. No, that would totally work. I don't care if it's just one person clicking it 100 times or clicking it 50 times each.
The amount of time you spend clicking that button directly correlates to how much you like our podcast. So the more
in turn correlates to my self-worth and happiness.
Yeah.
So.
And also salary, because this is my job now.
I'm going to.
I'm quitting my job live on the air.
On the podcast. Yeah, maybe if we get a breakthrough idea. Otherwise we're not making any money from this, so that sounds like a bad plan.
We're making $1 a month.
Have you ever tried to retrieve the $1?
No, but I don't even know the password to our Patreon, so
it's.
Don't say what the password is.
It's not gonna. What if I say it and then edit some different words over the top?
Why don't you just say Why don't you just wait till the end of the podcast and then tell me? We're almost done.
All right.
If you want, you can say it and then edit some other words. It seems like unnecessary work, though.
Yeah, I'm concerned that if I did that, I wouldn't actually remember to edit. Even if I wanted to, I just wouldn't, because that's what happened with the Ben's baby picture thing.
Do you know the Hunter 2 meme?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the password is Hunter 2.
It probably isn't, but I feel like I made it something more generic than my typical password type thing, so who knows, it might be. If it is, though, whatever it is you just said won't be audible in the recording.
Right, so when I say it, it just comes out as static. That's just an example of how passwords work.
Right.
Okay, wait, real quick, for a bad joke, just say the password is Hunter 2.
The password is Hunter 2.
I really hope that's synchronized. All right. All right. Do you have any more advice for New Year's resolutions? So far we have make a concrete plan. Do the resolution whenever you want, not just New Year's. And also, what was the first advice?
Try and figure out how the people in your life say 20, and if they say it weird, then
oh right, no, the first advice
hanging around.
No, I don't think that was part of the advice. That was just related. I think the actual first advice was have a partner to do it with.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yep, have other people holding you accountable.
But also do that thing that you said. It's just not advice.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's good general advice. Not necessarily.
If you find someone who says 20, make sure to kill them immediately and hide the body so we can make sure the entire human race says 20.
Right.
All the English speaking people. Yes.
Right. So closing thoughts. Let's see. I think it is my personal opinion that if you fail your New Year's resolution,
you're a worthless human being and you should never do another's New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
How did you know those were the exact words that I was thinking of?
That's amazing. It's almost like I've already said that, and we're recording this after I said that, and you're saying the exact thing, knowing that that's how it was going to happen.
See, if I were from the future, which I am, then I would... For those of you who don't know, that was one of the highlights that we pulled that we didn't air on the episode, but it's a pretty good one, so go listen to it.
I'm glad that our podcast is becoming more self-referential than usual.
Yeah.
To me, that's a sign that you've really made it, when you've got like inside jokes between you and your listeners, or in our case, just between us because we don't have listeners.
Right.
It's a bit less fun when it's just between us because we're quoting each other.
I think it's still pretty fun. It's
definitely still fun. But.
I don't really think it's any less fun to quote ourselves than to quote some other actual funny people.
No, I don't. I think that's true. I think it would just be better if other people were quoting us.
Oh yeah, that would be better. No question. No question.
Right.
Yeah, if you're quoting us, please email us or visit our website and let us know.
Right. And tell your friends to do the same now that it's so easy to get in contact with us. You're welcome.
All right. So did you come up with a quote?
Oh, no. I got up and started wandering around my apartment because I was like mildly motivated to do the dishes, but then it turned out that the dishes made sound to do. So I totally failed. And can you give me a quick
cover
5 to 10 minute monologue while I research some quotes?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Ben, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but I have to tell everyone that getting up and wandering around your apartment is a totally Ben move. Back when he was younger, we would lose things in our house, and what would happen is Ben would just like pick things up like completely spaced out, not paying any attention, and he would just wander around to random parts of the house and just set them somewhere. So we would lose something and be like, "Oh, Ben, where did you move? X thing to?" So, totally Ben move there. Ben, please email us if you didn't like me saying that on the podcast. Or visit our website, which once again is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website. I can't even say the whole thing in one breath. Jeez.
Oh, man. Luckily, our website URL is so long that I was able to find a quote while you were saying it. I Googled New Year's resolution quotes, and the third result that comes up is, I think, the best. Embrace change and try new things here in the middle of this Olive Garden.
Nice. Weirdly inspiring.
Yeah, words to live by in the new year, in 2020.
Words to live by. Number 1, what you just said. Number 2, the Diet Coke don't lie. And number 3, you find it, you own it.
Number 4, of course, if you say 20, please stop listening to our podcast.
And number 5, get money. All right.
Get money. Yep.
By the way, just to finish your thought, stop listening to our podcast and kill yourself. All right. That's a joke. Please don't actually kill yourself.
Yes. In fact, we would much prefer you email us so that we can get emails, because that makes us happy. Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to think of something more meaningful to say there, but this is ultimately not a very meaningful podcast, and it would not feel genuine. So
is it too edgy or like offensive for me to make jokes about killing yourself?
Since we have like no audience, it's probably like an okay amount of edgy, because you would probably say that to those people.
Right, but what if someone else started listening that I wouldn't say that to?
Right. I don't know. That's so like, personally, I'm not offended by things like that, but there definitely are people that are. And it just depends on how.
All right, I killed the joke by asking, so I just won't make those jokes anymore.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh man.
Please email us with any thoughts or ideas. Right now, we don't have a plan for our next episode, so email us if you. Of course, by the time this is released, the next episode will have happened. So I guess that's not very helpful, but. Email us anyway if you have a suggestion.
By the time we're making whatever episode it is after you're emailing us, we won't have ideas for that either, so it'll always be helpful.
Exactly. So, all right. So, yeah, thanks for listening. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been Joel.